Hey guys, ZMarie here. Still rocking my red for Love Month and Heart Health Month. You been moving? So look, I got a treat for you tonight. I got a special guest with me, one of my dearest friends. Guarantee you're going to really enjoy this treat tonight. So joining me is Mr. Brian Jackson, aka or better known as bHenrY, the poet. Brian, how you doing this evening?
Good evening. How are you? How's everybody out there?
Hey, I'm doing good.
I
I'm
say
doing.
greetings, not just because it's evening someplace, it's morning someplace, it's noon others. So just
I
say
do that
greetings.
all the time. There you go. So first, before we get started, I want to welcome you all to my channel. Again, I'm ZMarie, and this is ZMarie's Faith, Love, and Lifestyle. If you're new to the channel, I ask you to do a few things for me. First, I want you to subscribe. I want you to share, of course, like the video, and I want you to comment. You can do all those things for me. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. But tonight, what we want to do is Love Month. So we want to talk a little bit more about love. And most importantly, we want to talk about the five love languages. bHenrY, are you familiar with the five love languages?
I read a book once upon a time, but refresh me.
I'm gonna refresh you to the best of my ability.
Best of your ability, and
Yep.
we'll
And I'm
take a
gonna cheat too, because I got them written down. Ha,
okay,
how
that's
about
good.
that?
I'll take the journey with you. I'm a partner this time.
So the five love languages are words of affirmation, quality time, receiving gifts, acts of service, and physical touch. Do any of those ring a bell to you?
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do. You
Yes,
want to
they
explore them a little bit with me tonight?
I'll go down. we'll go on this journey together.
We'll go on this journey together.
Ready.
We're going to start with words of affirmation since you bHenrY the poet. I'm sure you're familiar with words, right?
I spent a time or two with a few words.
Okay, okay. Well, we'll visit that a little later. We'll visit that a little later. But I want to ask you first, since I've laid out those five love languages, have you ever been I don't want to say test. I don't like to use the word test, but when you research them, there's a way for you to answer a series of questions that would kind of determine what I think it's three highest uh, languages would be.
I the one that sticks out is touch for me.
Hmm.
It's growing up in the community, the family, the church, especially the mother that
Hmm.
I had. There was a lot of love through hugging, and
Okay.
I said around family growing up, so it was um it was expressed like that.
Okay.
Even when I meet my boys, it's a dap, you know,
Right.
you know.
Right.
That's that, but especially I say touch it is, and I'm one that empathically I feel energy. So
Okay.
that if it's genuine, I'm gonna know I'm gonna know how I'll really feel it. If not,
Okay.
it may take my energy a different way. So
Understood.
yeah, it's I guess it's a test. It's a recognizing of what's genuine at the same time, I guess, too. You know, um,
Well,
effort,
tonight we want to focus on the love. So
focus on the love.
let's
So,
focus on the love part of it. So
so
physical touch. I think
yeah,
that's one of mine as well.
right,
I always like to say though, because oftentimes I think this is again ZMarie's opinion.
right.
When it comes to physical touch, people may immediately in their mind go to sex.
It's
And
a lot deep,
and for me, it's so far fetched, or not far fetched, but it's far from that.
right?
I mean, the physical touch for me, hold my hand, a hug.
Yeah,
I'm all about the hugs.
right.
Um, Maybe a nice caress, or really maybe just in my presence physically. You know what I
Really,
mean?
I
Just
mean,
sharing that space in the room
right,
with me.
right.
Hmm.
Um, you think about the skin is really your largest organ. you know?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So when you think about that, and I know I have a lot of problems with sleeping, and I've been told I was very active in my sleeping. So sometimes a gentle rub might even calm me down in my sleep, which is amazing to me. Um, but it's like you said, a hug, to hold someone. Um, I totally agree with that. I totally
Right.
agree. It's deeper because you have to go a whole lot deeper in the mind, um, to make even sex to be as enjoyable for both partners as it needs to be.
Right.
If not, it's uh, it's an action that you might necessarily can do by yourself. I just be frank with that because
Right.
it should be intimacy involved with it. You don't have to be in a relationship or be having sex to be intimate. And I
Right.
think a lot of people confuse that, you know?
Okay. With physical touch, again, as a love language, how would someone best communicate their love to you through physical touch? Um, I'm trying to figure out a good example. Say you had a hard day, rough day, you
Hmm.
know, you're coming home and that special someone is there. How can they best relay their love to you through physical touch? Maybe not even with you asking for it, but just knowing you and knowing the love between the two of you, they understand that that's one of your love languages. What would be an ideal thing for them to do
I
when
think
you walk through the door?
initially, if they know the door opens, I might not even, I might be unlocking the door, but that person is actually waiting at the door. I might have
Mhm.
made a call beforehand. They see me pull up. A lot of times, someone could look at me and see that my energy, and I'm walking in, and that person is awaiting with a smile, open arms, ready to give me a kiss. Walk me to my most comfortable chair in the room, tell me to take off my shoes, put my feet back, and may start rubbing my temple. Yeah. Or it could be sitting in a chair, and because I get all my tension in my neck, which usually could cause a migraine for me. I'm a
Mhm.
migraine sufferer. So I think those are some of the when I think about it, that would be a great way for me wanting to be greeted especially with a hard day. But any day that would make me feel great. Elevate me. So
Got it. Got it. Okay, so physical touch. Another big one for me is quality time. And quality time doesn't mean you just coming in and yeah, we spending time, we gonna look at the game or we're gonna have dinner. I mean, all those things are nice, but quality time for me is maybe you and I conversating, and I know I have your undivided attention.
right. I agree with being able to converse. Nothing else is on. I'm having a serious issue with um, showing my or actually being how would you say actually being focused sometimes, finding words sometimes, unfortunately, but being focused. So cutting off all the sounds, unless there's light music, and I prefer music with either gentle words or no words at all. And we just having a nice conversation, and if it might be in a situation to set the scene, why not be under candlelight? Why not be that, or dim light? You dim the lights, um, in a very relaxing atmosphere, and to share what's on your mind, is on your heart. I mean, that can be a simple. A lot of times, people don't think about spending money, uh, to exercise that love language, where you might want to just take a walk in nature, go to a
Right.
park,
Right.
holding hands, sitting on a bench. One of my biggest things, and I think is a favorite of yours as well, is to go 20 minutes to 40 minutes to the water. Just there's a pier here off of the coast of Emerald Isle is the area, and I'll go sit out there. Love to watch the sun set, the sun rise, and
Right.
to share that with somebody. And I remember from actually being in the military when I would go outside and be under the stars. I said, "Man, God is showing off again. I wish I could share this with somebody." You know,
Right. Right.
so it's just amazing to be able to be in those type of environments where you can, you know, it's given to you freely. You
Right.
don't have to spend a thing, but it's the most powerful gift I think someone could share with somebody.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And as I look over the list, I know we've talked a lot about those things that are our love languages. And again, I'm not an expert. This is my take. Um, but also things we have to be conscious of is that when we're in relationships with other people, what may be our love language may not necessarily be their love language.
That is true. I think when you consider that too, with you start looking into those love languages, you actually learn the essence of compatibility as well. So it could be that, you know, there's people, what is the one dealing with receiving gifts? Is there one?
Correct. Hmm.
Right.
Receiving
So
gifts.
I can't remember exactly what they are, but when it comes to that, and we're in a society right now where a lot of people are driven by things.
Hmm.
You know, you have to be able to provide this type of car or this type of vacation or this type of, these high end things,
Right.
which some can afford, others can't.
Right.
And some people will kill themselves trying to do that. And I think sometimes people are not, it's not out of love, it's out of, people do this. I call it, I give you this. It's a return on investment. I
Hmm.
think that's something that you should try with your bank or try, when you're playing stocks. But when it comes to love, it's not just ROI because love is something that should be given freely.
Right.
When a relationship, you hope that someone reciprocates that with you, and
Right.
then it's not outside of that relationship, you know.
Right.
But I don't love you because you love me. I love you because you love me. I love you because I love you.
Right.
But
Right.
get that love because you don't control. I made a comment earlier to someone. It's like I don't have enemies, but people make me their enemy, and that's on them.
Right. Right.
I've loved, and that love might have changed based on the reality of the relationship ending. I don't want nobody to do bad after I might feel a certain way and all brokenhearted after a relationship. But if you really love somebody, if you don't stop loving them,
You don't stop. You don't
regardless
stop.
of circumstances changes, you still want the best for them, you know.
Right. Right.
So, but
Agreed. I think for receiving gifts, say for example, I'm dating someone, and as I get to know him, I learned that receiving gifts is one of his love languages. Um, and it's not necessarily monetary gifts that cost dollars and dollars or things like that, but it's being conscious of sometimes just the simplest thing can represent a gift, you know. I'm coming in, hey honey, I picked up your favorite beer, on my way on my way home, or just those subtle things.
right, it's
Those
that thing
subtle
that
things.
what speaks to that person,
Hmm.
It
Hmm.
might be with me, it might be a some kind of journal,
Right, right,
something I could write on, or a pen that might feel as good, and it don't have to be a very expensive pen. So it can be. It doesn't have to be the high end things that people want.
right,
I'm not saying if you can't afford that, you can
right,
do,
right.
but you shouldn't break your bank trying
And
to please someone.
right,
And that's all that it is. It could,
right,
you don't want anything that's built on the weak foundation of material things, but
Right.
you
Right.
know, you want to be able to provide that if that is someone's love language, but
Mhm.
you also got to come from a place with love for it, and hopefully the reciprocation is love as well. It's not
Right.
just because some people, we deal with a lot of users now, unfortunately.
And a lot of that you probably gonna learn early on. You're gonna see those
Right.
red flags
Yeah.
early on, and you're gonna be
Right.
like, maybe you're not the one for me.
Right.
This is
That's
not
good. That's
gonna
it.
gonna
You
work
know,
out. So that's key, recognizing that
I,
and
I,
seeing that
right.
in the beginning.
I think, like I said, it's simple. The conversation will tell you that. And I
Right.
tell folks, because I'm one that does react to energy, don't stay on. First of all, you can't please a fool, so don't try to spend your time trying to please somebody that is acting foolish, and it's not affecting you positively. Like you said, you know that early.
Right.
It's up to you to cut it off though.
To cut it off. Exactly. Exactly. Um, Words of affirmation. And I don't know how much time we got going on here, so we may have to come around and come back to part two on this. But
Right,
we're gonna move on. Words of affirmation.
right. I think we all would like to hear "I love you"
Right.
with that special someone. Why a person loves you, how a person makes you feel, those qualities about I like your smile, you know. Oh, I seem like you showing me 42 teeth instead of
Whatever,
stuff,
whatever.
stuff like that. It's like I think we all can consider that in some way, but they also say a lot of people say actions are better than words, so you don't want empty words to be thrown your
You don't
way.
want empty words, but you want those affirming words. You want sometimes the thank yous, you
That's
know,
it.
showing appreciation. Honey, you looking nice today. I like that shirt
Okay.
on you.
Well,
Or you had a conversation. They get advice. The advice you gave me, okay, and I do see they flashing up my time here. We got 10 minutes, but just coming back with some of the niceties or the encouraging words or the life building words. You know, People
right.
oftentimes we can use those words to tear people down, but use the words that want to build, you can build that loved one up. And again, based on your time with them, if that is their love language, if those are the things that feed into them.
And
And then
sometimes, like we were talking about the love language earlier, it's like, I said I like that smile, I like that hug, but those words can also come along with that action.
right.
So there's double your pleasure, so to speak. You know, so
So we did the words of affirmation. We touched on quality time, receiving gifts. I mean, we could probably go on and on and on and talk more and more and more about these. We're just kind of just hitting the tip of the iceberg.
right.
Um, Acts of service.
I think because I'm a community guy. You know, um, I like people that are involved in doing for the community. You know, I and maybe you could talk to me in terms of bringing that home a little bit more in terms of relationships. But to me, I'm inspired by when I see people doing stuff for other people.
For other people.
If it's simply I've been behind someone and they've bought their food, and I'll tell the person I got it, or maybe leave something before I leave. you know so it's simple things like that, because it
It's
doesn't people
right,
don't know a smile can actually save a life.
right,
Something that simple, or holding the door open for somebody, you know
right,
so throwing your hand up after a person lets you in front of them when you're driving, flashing your lights.
right.
it these
When
are
we
all
bring this home, when we want to bring this home to a relationship, and I can say that the author of the book, because it's actually a book, The Five Love Languages, came to our church once,
Hmm.
and he basically gave us the premise of how he ended up writing the book. And he
Right,
was talking about his marriage and what have you, and how the communication, had seemed to just break down.
right,
And it may have been, he noticed the wife, might have been a little upset about something. And so in those times, he would maybe try to do something a little extra. He's gonna take the trash out, or vacuum, or go and clean the bathroom, or do these things around the house, which one of his love languages was acts of service. But when she wasn't responding to what he was doing, then he getting a little bit ticked off, like, what's up? I'm doing
right.
all this.
Because you
And
want
it wasn't that, but her love language was like quality time. So whereas he was doing that to better communicate with her, may have been just coming in, honey, let's sit down, let's talk a little bit, or, how was your day? Tell me about this, just taking that time out for her was something that began to work better for the relationship.
and I think the whole journey in terms of love with a significant other is that it's a
Yep,
journey,
it's
and
a journey.
some
It's a
things you
learning journey. Exactly.
learn very early, and I think you have to constantly, in my, I guess, my mind and my understanding is that you're gonna constantly work on falling in love again,
Exactly.
and
Got to put in the
sometimes
work.
and
Put in
some
the work.
you might, that I remember my great aunt and uncle said, "Boy, something it's not easy. It's work."
It'll work.
Together for 50 something plus years, you know. I saw I saw him smiling a whole lot more than I seen him frowning, that's for sure, you know.
Well, you know what? We are running out of time. And so I know early on we talked about maybe you spinning a fur or dropping a few words for the ladies.
Yes,
So
this
I
one,
think we might have time for one. And then maybe if I smile nicely, you'll come back and join me again. And we can maybe loop around this discussion one more time and really have something for Love Month and Valentine's Day. Would you do that for me?
I would love to do that, and because you smiled so nicely,
Okay.
so lovely,
All right.
it's like I could drop something on it. This is one I call First Lady because and it's two black women,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And I think about, well, we all have African in us. People say the cradle of civilization is Africa, so you got at least that 1% or that 0.05 somewhere. But anyway, First Lady, you must have been the muse for beauty. From your head to your hips, nose to your toes, of perfect detail. Your imprint on memory and essence that casts the spell truly. Love, poetry, and motion. The champagne in my sherbet. Every dream come true are you. Your very presence wishes me well just to look at you. Thank you. Could there be any greater reward? Though not man made, you're indeed the first one of the world, and God considers you the masterpiece. You're the greatest creation. You're the greatest inspiration. You are simply the greatest. You are Black woman.
Woo woo.
Thank you. Thank you.
I
Now,
love it. I love it. I love it. And
thank
I
you.
thank you for joining us, ladies, gentlemen. bHenrY, the poet.
Thank you for the opportunity, and thank you, sisters out there, for continuously inspiring me.
All right. Okay, there you have it. Like, share, subscribe. Be well. I don't even see where to stop the recording. Oh, there it is.